Okay, so let's consider two obstacles that have to be addressed for survival. I mean, there's a lot of obstacles, but here are two big ones. One, you have to maintain an osmotic balance. That means you gotta find an osmotic balance by managing the water and the solutes in the body. And two, you have to get rid of metabolic waste. What's metabolic waste? Well, it could include carbon dioxide or nitrogenous waste, which occur from the breakdown of proteins. There's a lot of protein breakdown in metabolic processes after all. The excretory system focuses on addressing those two major issues. Many organs and structures have roles in addressing these two issues and therefore serve roles in the excretory system. The skin, which can excrete water and substances. The liver, highly involved in detoxification and produces urea. More on urea later. The lungs, which excrete the gas waste carbon dioxide. And those organs are also involved in other systems. Remember, body systems don't work in isolation. The skin is an organ of the integumentary system. The liver is an accessory organ in the digestive system. Lungs are organs of the respiratory system. But our focus in our short time is going to be on another set of organs that play a huge role in the excretory system, the kidneys. In fact, we could say the urinary system if we wanted to isolate to these structures. Kidneys, there are two, and found in the lower back. The bladder, a single sac that will hold urine. Ureters, there are two, and these drain the urine produced from the kidneys to the bladder. Urethra, a single tube where the urine will travel out of the body. So urine is produced by the kidneys, and we're going to focus on the process that makes urine. Blood is filtered by the kidneys, producing urine, which is a portion of the body's waste products that need to be excreted. A reminder, we like to show a general and simplified version of very complex topics, so explore our description for more. We start with this beautiful thing called the nephron. Each kidney has tons of them, like one kidney can have 1,000,000 of these things. They are the functional unit of the kidney. The nephron has a lot of different parts, but its overall goal is to process waste products from the blood to create urine. The first part of the nephron that we'll talk about has something called the glomerulus, which you could consider a specialized mass of capillaries. It is surrounded by this, the Bowman's capsule. Blood pressure forces fluid from the blood in the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule. Once the fluid is in the Bowman's capsule, the fluid is called the filtrate. What's in filtrate? Well, here are a few major things. Water, some glucose and amino acids, salts, H+ ions, bicarbonate ions, other ions, some medications if applicable, some vitamins, and urea, a nitrogenous waste produced by the liver that the body needs to get rid of. So the nephron is going to take this filtrate through the ride of its life while it will process it. Some of the filtrate is reabsorbed, meaning some of the filtrate will cross the barrier of the nephron back into the fluid surrounding the nephron, also called the interstitial fluid, and eventually circulate again through the body. But in order to get rid of some components and eventually excrete them as urine, those items will be in the tubes of the nephron, eventually to form urine. Some substances that enter or leave the nephron, they might travel by diffusion or facilitated diffusion, and those transport types move with the gradient from high to low concentration. But sometimes substances are transported by active transport, requiring ATP. Let's go. We're going from the Bowman's capsule to proximal tubule. Proximal can mean near, and it is the tubule nearest the glomerulus. Important because there is another tubule later on. In this proximal tubule, NaCl moves to the interstitial fluid. A little about NaCl, it is a salt. I'm going to say NaCl in this video a lot, but realize that to enter or leave, the Na and Cl can separate to go through separate proteins. Water will follow by osmosis, which makes sense as this area is hypertonic due to the NaCl. Therefore, we say salt and water are reabsorbed because they're not staying in the nephron here. They're going to the interstitial fluid. Other substances like glucose, amino acids, potassium, and bicarbonate are also reabsorbed, again meaning they're going to the interstitial fluid by either active or passive transport. Now, when we say reabsorbed, not all of these are 100% reabsorbed, and so some concentrations of these remain in the filtrate. Now, what is secreted? Meaning what will move from outside the tubule, the fluid surrounding this area of the nephron, into the proximal tubule. H+ ions and ammonium ions are some items secreted. With what's being reabsorbed and secreted, like bicarbonate and H+, you can tell the proximal tubule is important for pH regulation.